UTPA men's basketball gets hot at home. UTPA Athletics inducted the 2014 Hall of Fame and Hall of Honor class, and UTPA men's golf holds its inaugural Pro-Am. Now this is Bronc Country. Welcome to Bronc Country. I'm Jonah Goldberg, deep in the heart of Bronc Country. Men's basketball and baseball for the University of Texas Pan American at home this past week, and the men's basketball team doing some big things.
Teams more our size, so again, they're matchups for us that you know, physically I think we can handle, and if we execute the way we did on the road here at home, we have a great opportunity to win. Of course, they're looking at it like they probably didn't play very well at home and want to play better on the road. But, you know, again, two teams coming in. Chicago State, very athletic, got some deep shooting range, as does UMKC. And, you know, hopefully we can play as well as we did against them on the road.
Bronc starting the weekend against Chicago State. Down 8-5 early. Javon Farrell connects for three to tie the game. And that gets the Broncs rolling. Shaq Hines with the jumper. Farrell back for a layup. And then Josh Cleveland gets involved, 16-8 Broncs. Later in the first half, Cougars come back to tie the game at 23. Not anymore. Shaq Boga puts the Broncs up 25-23. It's the start of another run as LJ McIntosh nails the three. Alex Majewski hits the layup, and Cleveland goes 2 for 2 from the line. Broncs up 32-23. Late second half now, Cougars with a 5-point lead, and the go-to man is Farrell. Makes it a 2-point game. And with 1:18 left in regulation, Hines sinks a pair of free throws, ties the game at 61. We're going to overtime. Less than 30 seconds left in the extra session. Game tied at 68. And look at the great passing by the Broncs to create space for Boga. Buries the three. Broncs win, 71-68. Boga and Farrell led the Broncs with 16 points each. Great game for Cleveland. Season high 13 points with 9 rebounds and 2 blocks. Alex Majewski continues to roll. He had 11 points. Headline though, it's the Broncs' first home win in WAC play. 48 hours later, Kansas City comes to town for homecoming. The last time these two teams met, the Broncs shot over 50%, and it was like deja vu all over again. Broncs down 7-0 early, now it's 7-2, and time for Javon Farrell to take over. That basket gets him to 999 career points. And this basket gets him over the hump. 1,000 points, Javon Farrell, Broncs within 9-7. And he was just getting started. Hits these free throws to bring the Broncs within 1. And then, next time down the court, the go-ahead layup. Broncs up 11-10, and they're going to lead the rest of the way. Of course, Farrell wasn't done yet, not even close. This layup makes it 16-12. This one makes it 21-17, and this one makes it 23-17. Farrell scored 15 of the Broncs' first 23 points. Broncs roll 68-59. Farrell finished with a career-high 30 points while going a whopping 13 for 17 from the field. Just for good measure, he added 6 rebounds, 4 assists, and 2 steals. Shaq Boga and Josh Cleveland also in double figures with 11 points each. For his efforts, Farrell earned WAC Player of the Week honors. During the 2 games, Farrell averaged 23 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 steals, while shooting 63% from the field. As for what it all means in the standings, don't look now, here come the Broncs. Although now tied with Idaho for 8th, the Broncs are just 2 games out of 4th place right now. The Broncs close out their 3-game homestand on Thursday when they host New Mexico State.
Chicago State and Kansas City both are going to be huge inside. Kansas City has a post player that's averaging about 15 points, 15 rebounds a game. Chicago State has a couple of kids that are 6'2", 6'3". So we're just going to have to scrap. We're going to have to press. We're going to have to maintain the up-tempo style of the game. And if we don't do that, if we don't defend the perimeter and cause turnovers, then we're going to be in for a long day on both of them.
As for the women, they broke the schneid with a convincing win over Chicago State, 75-52. The Broncs blew the doors off this game early, dropping 40 points and taking a 15-point lead while shooting 62%. But Broncs finished the game at a season-high 52%. Big game for Brittany Bush, 16 points on 8 of 12 shooting with 8 rebounds. Shante Goff with 13. Tanisha Walker had a career-high 5 steals, still with 12 points. Kaylin Boyd scored 11 points with 6 assists and 3 steals. And how about Laquita Garner? The senior captain went 3 of 4 from behind the arc for 9 points, and it wasn't even her best game of the weekend.
Chicago State, we came out from the very beginning and we played really good defense. When we play good defense, we got a chance to win. You know, we held them to 52 points, I believe is what their total was. And when you play great defense, it leads to some transition baskets that enable us to shoot better, higher percentages. I think in the Chicago State game, we were around the shooting 43%, and that's what we need to do as a team, is shoot around the 40, 42, 43%. And you just got to really compliment the way that Shante Goff continues to play. KK Boyd had a really nice game. Brittany Bush had an excellent game again. And then you just keep working it. And Tanisha Walker, a lot of steals. I mean, just very aggressive defense. Tiandria Nolan, solid, and had some good things happen for us. And Laquita Garner came off the bench, hit 3 threes for us, and I'm really happy for Quita. She worked extremely hard.
On to Saturday, Bronx at Kansas City, and this was a tight one throughout. We pick it up with 13 minutes left, Bronx down 7, but then Kaylin Boyd hits a 3 to get the Bronx offense rolling again. Move ahead to the 10-minute mark, and it's Jasmine Thompson ties the game at 59. And then 2 minutes later, Shante Goff hits the layup, 65-63 Bronx. 6 minutes left, Bronx down 1 again, but Tiandria Nolan hits the layup, 69-68 Bronx. Final half minute, Bronx down 9, but Boyd hits the bucket and draws the foul, hits the free throw, Bronx within 6. 17 seconds left, Bronx down 7, but Tiandria Nolan hits the layup, it's a 5-point game. Then after some free throws, it's Tanisha Walker for 3, Bronx within 4. 5 seconds left, Bronx down 6 again, but Laquita Garner nails the 3, it's a 1-possession game. Bronx unable to foul in the final possession though, so that's where the game ends, 87-84 Kangaroos. Goff led the Bronx with 20 points. Boyd finished with 16 while Bush had 13 with 9 rebounds. 4 threes for Garner to finish with the season-high 12 points. Garner finished the weekend 7 for 9 from behind the arc.
Well, we lost really an offensive game, 87-84, and the key to that again is its defense, and we had a lack of defense, I think, in that game. They have some good shooters, they have some good scorers. The thing I've got to maybe do is get into the Missouri-Kansas City playbook and figure out how to get to the free throw line as many times as they do, because they went to the free throw line 33 times, we went 15.
Here's a look at the WAC standings. The Bronx right in the thick of things, now half a game back of Kansas City for the number 4 spot. The Bronx tied for 5th with New Mexico State. The Bronx next opponent, you guessed it, New Mexico State.
New Mexico State is a very good team. They shoot the ball extremely well. As good or better than UMKC. They have one of the better players, Williamson, in the entire conference. I mean, she had 30 on us the last time we played, and then they have a good inside game. So it's going to be a very tough game playing in Las Cruces, and we're going to have to really up it on, we're going to have to really bring our A game defensively if we even have a remote chance of winning.
Spring break is just a few weeks away. I don't know about you, but I'm thinking Vegas. But what do you know? That's where the WAC tournaments are this year. You can get a ticket to all 14 WAC tournament men's and women's basketball games for just $165. We even have an in on hotel rooms through corporate travel, so give us a call or visit UTPABronx.com/WAC today. Hey, we've been telling you Bronc Country just got a whole lot bigger, haven't we? Well, viva Las Vegas.
Finally, the season's here. It's exciting. A couple days before opening game, I don't get much sleep. Just 1,000 thoughts go through my mind. Did we get this covered? Did we get that covered? Do we need to work on this before we start? So we're excited and we're looking forward to it.
On to baseball season. Bronx hosting Texas A&M-Corpus Christi in a 4-game set. Pick it up in the top of the first during the home opener. After a leadoff double for the Islanders, Jordan Lee hits a liner to center. And look at that catch by Evan Mason. 1 out later, Kyle Danford swinging. Sam Street escapes the jam. On to the third. Islanders up 1-0 and threatening with 2 on and nobody out. Lee at the plate, And that goes 6, 4, 5 on the double play, fielder's choice. And then Lee wants to steal second, but the Bronx guessed right, and Jacob Huckabee fires a seed. Street escaped a few jams, but didn't allow anything else across in 7 innings. Matt Danton cruising along for the Islanders through 6, but the first pitch of the 7th to Alberto Morales, and he smashes it. Off the top of the left field wall, leadoff double for Morales. And then on pitch number 7 of the ensuing at-bat, Brian Ramirez goes yard. Into the Bronx bullpen, 2-1 Bronx. Bottom of the 8th, same score. Victor Garcia at second with 2 out, and Alex Howe hits it towards short, and it gets through. Garcia scores, 3-1 Bronx. Top of the 9th, it's a 3-2 game. Tying run at second with 2 outs, and Clayton Holtum gets Frankie Salas to pop out. Opening day win for the Bronx, 3-2. On to game 1 of Saturday's doubleheader. Bronx down 2-1 in the bottom of the 1st. Alberto Morales slips a fly ball to right field. That scores Evan Mason, game tied at 2. Move ahead to the 7th, game tied at 3, and Victor Garcia shoots one to right. Scores Brian Ramirez. Bronx go up 4-3. The Islanders come back to win 6-4. Game 2 is a different story. The Bronx have the bases loaded with 1 out in the 1st, and look at the patience by Brian Stites. In his first start, walks to force in a run. And then Alex Howe with a little flare to left center. Danford can't come up with it. That's going to clear the bases. Bronx up 4-0. They're up 5-zip after 1. In the 4th, it's more of the same. Victor Garcia with the RBI single to make it 6-0. And then Stites singles. Bronx up 7-0. Top 7. Bronx starter Matt Harrell still in control. Went the distance for the win. Bronx mercy ruled the Islanders 11-1-7. The Islanders turned the tables on Sunday. Tyler Ware with the early RBI single for the Islanders here. And that Zach Gibson singles home a run. Bronx up 2-0 after the 1st. Gibson got the Bronx again, RBI single in the 3rd. And then Dominic Lopez with a 2-run single moments later. Islanders gone to win 10-0 in 7.
We were very sluggish today, Romeo. We weren't very competitive. I'm happy it wasn't a whack Sunday. It was just the first Sunday of the year, so we got a lot of work to do. But some positives. A lot of young guys, Brian Stites, Omar Avila, Tanner Dickerson. They played well, so that was a bright spot.
Here's a look at the WAC non-conference standings. The Bronx and Sacramento State each with 2 wins. Bakersfield, New Mexico State, and Seattle all opened up with 3 wins each. The Bronx are back in action this weekend for the Al Ogletree Classic when they host Northwestern State and Prairie View A&M.
We played Northwestern last year, so we got a little idea about their returning players. Prairie View, we've also played in the past, so we have a little bit of ideas on their tendencies. Northwestern is well coached. They got some good players. Prairie View is pretty good. They've got some guys that can swing it. They've got some guys that can run. So it's going to be a great weekend.
Last call for season tickets. For just $100, you can get tickets that are good for all of the Bronx games this season. To get yours now, give the Bronx a call at 956-665-2221 or visit UTPABronx.com. A few months ago, UTPA Athletics announced the 2014 Hall of Fame and Hall of Honor induction class. And now, after much anticipation, Saturday was Induction Day. Coming up on Bronc Country, we take you to the Hall of Fame and Hall of Honor induction ceremony.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the big dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner.
Ticket packages on sale now at UTPABronx.com. The 2-2, well outside to the backstop. Everybody running. Rio scores the tying run. Swinging a liner past the third baseman into left field, the base hit. Bronx win! Bronx win! Bronx win! This commercial brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics. Saturday was a special day for former Bronx baseball player Lupe Canol, former golfers Manny Martinez and Nancy Verastegui, and former track and field athlete Renee Guillen, as well as the families of former men's basketball player Marshall Rogers and former baseball player Alonzo Knott Garcia, as they were inducted into the UTPA Athletics Hall of Fame. It's also a special day for the family of the late Lou Hassel, who was inducted into the UTPA Hall of Honor. Nancy Bateo has the details.
They committed to being excellent in what they do, committed to being the best that they could be.
Hard work, dedication, and a willingness to succeed are all characteristics that the 2014 UTPA Athletics Hall of Fame inductees possess.
You know, it's a lot of work, a lot of practice. Then you also have to have someone behind you, like golf coach. I had Coach Guerrero was my golf coach here, so we worked hard. We went to a lot of tournaments, lots of practice.
This year's inductees, family, and friends gathered at the UTPA ballroom to honor and pay tribute to these great athletes.
Way to go, Nancy. Congratulations on making your mark on University of Texas Pan American. Please take your place in the Hall of Fame.
It's kind of like the cherry on top of the cake, you know, finally getting some type of recognition in that sense, and it's a major recognition.
It's something that you dream of and you never expect it to happen to you, and when it does happen, you don't know what to say, you know, because it's a great honor. It's a great honor to be included with so many famous athletes that have come through Pan American.
Although some inductees are no longer with us, their families proudly took the stage to receive this honor on their behalf.
Our hope is that his 3 grandchildren who now play will have that same love of the game and will carry on his legacy. Thank you for this honor.
Reporting from the UTPA ballroom, for Bronc Country, I am Nancy Bateo.
UTPA men's golf held its inaugural Pro-Am last week. Next on Bronc Country, we take you to Los Lagos. The UTPA men's golf team is always in search of ways to try and connect with the local community. This past week, the Broncs helped to kick off homecoming weekend with their first annual Pro-Am. Romeo Villarreal has the chip shot.
Yes, sir. UTPA golfers hit the range on Friday with donors at the first ever UTPA Pro-Am. This 6-team, 30-player tournament was an effort to raise money for the golf program for some much-needed upgrades.
We knew we were going to have some struggles with participation being on a Friday, but we got a good group of guys came out, and I think they had a really good time.
Along with updating the golfers' equipment with things such as new shoes, clubs, and golf bags, Coach Fosdick has bigger plans for the money raised.
We have some big ticket items that we'd like to have, some facility upgrades here, some things like some rolling sunshade for the range to keep the guys out of the sun, some technology things like TrackMan, things like that are going to help them get a little bit better.
While the team is on the course most of the week for practice, today wasn't just your average day at the range, but rather a fun getaway from the norms of practice and a chance to mingle with local businessmen.
I was so excited to play today. It's better than the tedious practice we have, and we all enjoyed ourselves, and it's good for the team, good for the community.
These relationships they're able to form with some of these business leaders and businessmen in the community that maybe one day is going to pay off when they graduate. You know, they might have somebody who's followed them for 3 or 4 years now at UTPA and likes their personality, likes what they do, and they might get a phone call saying, "Hey, why don't you come work for me?"
For Bronc Country, this is Romeo Villarreal.
When the Pro-Am was complete, the Broncs drove to Houston for their first event of the spring, taking part in the Rice Intercollegiate. It's the first of 5 events for the Broncs this season, leading up to the WAC Championships. Men's tennis also helped to kick off homecoming with a Friday morning match against Lamar, and the Broncs got off to a good start. The Broncs fell at number 1 in doubles, so we pick it up at number 3, where Mauricio Fasano and Alejandro Sanoa were playing well. Pick up a 6-2 win. So the point will be decided at number 2, and Shane Tadini and Ricardo Hopker were equal to the task. Broncs up 1-0. On to singles. Juan Cruz Soria played very well at number 1, matching Nikita Lease 6-3, 6-1. Bandini challenged a little more number 3 as his match with 3 sets, but Bandini the victor. The Broncs, however, dropped the match 3-4. Bandini came back from a first set hold to win the second 6-3 third 6-3. Hopker won the first set but dropped the next two. The other matches were decided in straight sets. The Broncs went to Incarnate Word on Sunday and fell 2-5. The Broncs were strong in doubles once again, picking up the point with wins at 2 and 3. The lone singles win came at number 6, courtesy of Joseph Bishop. The women also had Incarnate Word, and they played very well. After taking 2 of 3 in doubles, Londa Begelin, Christelle Amselin, Regan Greenwood, and Stanislava Stakova all won their singles matches to give the Broncs a 5-2 win.
It's always fun to win, but the most important thing was that they bounced back from the day before, coming from such a tough match. I think they were more motivated as a team. They really came together. They said, you know what, we played really well the day before. Let's go back out, do that same thing, play our game, and we walked away with a win. You know, we've been practicing being more aggressive, playing more offense instead of just waiting so long in a point. And so we've been doing that in practice, doing it in matches now, and so it just proves that they got to keep up with everything, especially mentally, and they've been doing that well.
19 top 10 finishes for track and field at Texas Tech on Friday. Jasmine Davison and Trey Taylor led the way by winning the weight throw on both the women's and men's sides. It was a strong event for the Broncs, as Javier Cartero and Jesus Alvarez also finished in the top 5. It was the Broncs' final full team competition before the WAC Indoor Championships.
You know, throwers definitely came out and had a fantastically strong meet. You know, we had 2 meet champions. We had a number of them move up or improve their places in the top 5 all-time UTPA. So it was a very fantastic showing for the throwers. We saw some good things. We saw some things that showed that we had a little bit more work to do. Again, you know, we had 2 weeks of solid training. You know, weather wasn't in the best of conditions for us, but we trained on through, and you know, we did hard work. So we showed that we still have a little bit more to get done before we send off for Idaho. Now we tell them just to stay focused. You know, the goal is in sight. We've got about 7 days together before we get on the plane and we head out. It's got to be focused. It's got to be dedicated work, and we have to keep pushing through.
If you want to show your support for all of these student athletes, donate to the Bronc Athletic Fund today. You can become a member of the BAF for just $50 a year. All of the money raised goes directly to student athlete scholarships, so visit BroncAthleticFund.com today to see how you can make a meaningful impact on the lives of student athletes. One way you can donate to the Bronc Athletic Fund is by participating in our 8th annual Bay Fishing Tournament, affectionately known as BAIT, on South Padre Island on April 12th. You could be one of 8 teams to win over $10,000 in cash prizes, including a $4,000 grand prize. Visit UTPABronx.com/BAIT for more information.
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the big dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner.
Ticket packages on sale now at UTPABronx.com. The 2-2. Well outside to the backstop. Everybody running. Rio scores the tying run. Swinging a liner past the third baseman into left field. The base hit. Broncs win! Broncs win! Broncs win! This commercial brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics. Here's what's on deck for the Broncs. Men's basketball closes out a 3-game homestand with defending WAC champ New Mexico State, while the women finish their 3-game trip in Las Cruces. Baseball at home for 4 games this weekend against Northwestern State and Prairie View A&M for the Owl Country Classic. They then hit the road to face Texas on Tuesday.
What's up?
We want to thank you for stamping your passport in Bronc Country this week. Schedule another visit for next week. But until then, go Broncs!
Madness is calling. The 2014 WAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament. March 12th through the 15th at Orleans Arena in Las Vegas. 16 teams battle through the brackets on their way to the big dance. Be there to see who will go home the big winner.
Ticket packages on sale now at UTPABronx.com.
The 2-2. Well outside to the backstop. Everybody running. Rio scores the tying run. Swinging a liner past the third baseman into left field. A base hit. Bronx win. Bronx win. Bronx win.
This commercial brought to you by Lax Furniture, an official sponsor of the University of Texas Pan American Intercollegiate Athletics.